At the request of her friend Rissa Sherman, Keed Hanjum starts playing the virtual reality MMORPG New World Online. To avoid getting hurt, Keed creates an avatar named Maple who wields a great shield and distributes all her skill points to defense. This strategy may have weakened her attack and slowed her down, but her exceptional defense enables her to accumulate new abilities and extra skill points by allowing the enemies to attack her. After encountering Kuromu, the Shielder, and Iz, the Crafter, Maple decides to venture into a dungeon to confront the formidable poison dragon. With the help of potions provided by Kuromu, Maple withstands the dragon's poisonous assaults long enough to develop an immunity to poison, ultimately defeating the dragon by devouring it. As a consequence, she not only gains the poison dragon's abilities, but also a unique set of equipment. Maple enrolls in a battle royale competition, and emerges victorious by overpowering all of her opponents, eventually securing third place. In the following day, Rissa joins the game under the avatar of Sally, a skilled swashbuckler with a knack for dodging attacks. Together, they venture into a cave to gather materials for a new shield. While exploring the cave, Sally stumbles upon a hidden underwater cavern that can only be accessed through a locked door. They return to the cave daily to allow Sally to improve her underwater skills, and after defeating the boss, she obtains her own set of equipment. While enjoying their time at a local cafe, Maple and Sally overhear players Dread and Drag discussing an upcoming quest in the nearby forest. The girls follow their lead and stumble upon an abandoned house with a hidden basement. Inside, they discover a man who is tied up and in need of healing. They successfully bring him back to life and are rewarded with a super speed skill. Later, they unwind at a secluded beach that offers stunning sunset views. The next day, Maple and Sally venture to level 2 to take on a formidable deer boss. Sally emerges victorious. Following their successful battle, Maple receives the snow-white shield she had ordered from Iz. Sally then takes Maple to a special area where they share a meal under a star-filled sky. As the second event, a party-based treasure hunt commences. Maple and Sally are eager to participate. At the start of the event, Maple and Sally stumble upon a concealed dungeon, complete with its own boss. They successfully conquer the boss and earn their first set of medals. Advancing in their adventure, they encounter Kuromu's party in the mountains, and allow them to use a warp to proceed ahead. Undeterred, Maple and Sally follow them into a perilous battle against the fierce ice-bird boss, Silverwing. Despite being overwhelmed by his powerful moves, they persist and ultimately defeat the boss with only a sliver of health left. Along with more medals and crafting materials, the duo discovers 2 monster eggs that eventually hatch into adorable turtle and fox companions, whom they affectionately name Syrup and Aboro. Their journey leads them to a desert oasis, where they encounter Kasumi, a formidable swordswoman, and engage in a challenging battle. As Maple rushes to catch up with Sally in Kasumi's heated battle, they all unexpectedly plummet into an underground dungeon. Trapped together by a cursed chain that will result in their deaths if even one of them perishes, the trio bands together to overcome the dungeon's unbeatable snail monsters. Together, they successfully navigate the dungeon and break free from the cursed chains, sharing their hard-earned spoils equally amongst themselves. Later on in the event, Maple and Sally cross paths with a player named Canade, who provides them with a valuable hint that leads them to an underwater squid boss. Employing her cunning strategy of poisoning the sea, Maple defeats the boss with ease. Sally earns the remaining medals needed for their goal through PvP kills before the end of the event. Maple, meanwhile, uses her newly acquired skills to enhance Syrup into a mobile fortress. Having earned the right to purchase a guild house, Maple and Sally searched high and low for the perfect place to call their own. After much struggle, they finally found a charming abode in the forest, and christened their newly formed guild Maple Tree, inviting Kasumi, Canade, Kuromu, and Iz to join them. With an upcoming game event on the horizon, Maple and Sally realized they needed more members to bolster their ranks. They ended up going back to the first floor to look for some new members to join their guild to increase their numbers for the upcoming event, not minding what level they are at, and how much experience they have. This is where Maple stumbles upon 2 beginner players, Yui and Mai, who both maxed out their strength stats and recruit them into the guild. With Maple's guidance, Mai and Yui were able to clear a dungeon at lightning speed, and gain new skills that allowed them to dual-wield double-handed weapons, and increase their damage output. Meanwhile, Canade was able to upgrade his staff, and Kuromu successfully cleared a hidden dungeon, and earned a new set of equipment. As Maple continued to explore the game world, she stumbled upon a series of quests that involved helping an NPC mother cure her daughter. Completing the quests granted Maple the loving sacrifice skill, which allowed her to share her defense with her guild members. In response, she ordered a new set of armor from Iz to complement her newfound skill. However, the other guilds began to take notice of Maple Tree's rapid growth and success, keeping a watchful eye on them during an upcoming event. Despite this, Maple and her guildmates remained determined to keep pushing forward and achieving new heights within the game. During the third event, the Maple Tree Guild embarks on a quest to collect bells from cow enemies. While on this mission, Maple revisits the church and faces a boss that grants her the ability to transform into a giant monster. With this newfound power, Maple leads her guild to level 3. Along the way, an NPC informs them about the Machine Lord in the area. However, they get lost and end up in the Graveyard of Dreams, where they confront yet another boss. In a stroke of luck, the boss gifts Maple with the Machine God's skill just before going berserk, allowing Maple to defeat it, and adding another skill to her arsenal. In preparation for the guild event, Maple and her friends relax by playing in a pond. Sally detects someone spying on them in the forest and confronts them to come out. It turns out to be Frederica of the Order of the Holy Sword Guild, the same girl that helped out Maple when she first started playing the game. Sally challenges her to a fight because of her urge to challenge strong players. Sally comes up with fake skills during this fight to give away false information of her true skills. After Sally evades all of Frederica's magic attacks, Frederica surrenders and unwittingly divulges information about the Flame Emperor Guild. The guild competition begins, with each guild assigned the task of capturing orbs from other guilds while defending their own. Using her stealth and tactics, Sally gains a few orbs, including one from the Flame Emperor, and encounters Dread from the Order of the Holy Sword. With several orbs in their possession, Maple Tree utilizes Maple's defense to safeguard their base from all assaults. As Sally and Kanade set out to gather more orbs, Kuromu and the rest of the guild prepare for a surprise attack by any opponents, leaving Maple in charge of defending the base with Mai and Yui. Sally soon finds herself surrounded by Frederica's forces, prompting Maple to leave the base and come to her aid, leaving the base vulnerable to an attack by Dread. Although Dread manages to defeat Mai and Yui, Maple is able to stop him before he can steal any orbs. While Sally takes a rest, Maple, Mai, and Yui launch a counter-attack on the Flame Emperor, breaking through all of their traps before eventually facing off against Mai, Marcus, and Misery. In an attempt to protect Maple, Sally jumps in and uses her stealth skill to evade the enemy attacks. As the battle rages on, Kanade supports Sally with his magic, while Kuromu and the others arrive to aid Maple. Using her loving sacrifice skill, Maple shares her defense with her guild members, and orders Iz to create a new set of armor for them. With their defenses boosted, Maple Tree begins to gain the upper hand, and Sally manages to land a critical blow on Pain. In a final effort, Dread unleashes his ultimate attack, but Maple sacrifices herself to protect her guild, using her machine god form to absorb the attack. Maple is brought to critical health by Pain's devastating attack. With few options left, she uses a daring counterattack that forces Pain to take the full brunt of his own power, but he survives the blow. Maple has no choice but to unleash her atrocity form, which ultimately overwhelms and defeats Pain and the entire Holy Sword Guild. Having revealed all of her powerful abilities, Maple uses her atrocity form to help her guildmates and allies eliminate other guilds, preventing larger guilds from gaining more orbs. This strategy catches on, as other guilds also begin to team up to keep the larger ones in check. In the end, Maple Tree finishes in third place, and the event administrators recognize Maple's impressive skills and the attention she has brought to the game. As a gesture of goodwill, Maple invites the members of both Holy Sword and the Flame Emperor to join in a celebration of the event's highlights, and they all come together to enjoy the festivities. Despite her growing reputation as a formidable opponent, Maple is left in peace for now, as many new players are drawn to the game and eager to challenge her.